My profession is a teacher. I've been teaching for 4 years. I recently quit my job as a teacher, so I'm now the pastor of the West region here in the UK, which is Wales and West Country. That just started on the 1st of January this year. Prior to that, I was the chairperson for the Welsh community. The reason for my change in profession was I felt inspired by this new direction, which I feel my life needs to go in. So something that's been on my mind a lot lately when I've been praying and reflecting is our roles and responsibilities in the church and within our communities. Alex asked me for the title of my talk. I really couldn't express it in one sentence. For me at the moment, this talk is like a strong burning sensation which I feel inside when I pray and reflect. So it was really difficult for me to put a caption or title on this, but I do feel inspired to share my message with you. And this is something quite current for me. So hopefully you can come along with this journey as well. So a little bit about myself, for those of you who do not know me. I'm the oldest brother of 4. Isaac Yamamoto is my youngest brother. Then we have Marina and Nadia, who are my sisters in between. I've been off the radar for the past few years, and when I have attended to things, people always say, oh, you're Nadia's brother or you're Isaac's brother. But that never used to be the case. They always used to be my brothers and sisters. But yeah, they're my younger siblings. I'm blessed and married to Kyan Texier from France. We were blessed in 2013 and married in 2019. We live here in Wales. So before I start my talk, I'm just going to make some assumptions which will help you understand where I'm coming from. The first assumption is that there's no such thing as the Unification Church. Okay. So when I refer to the church or the movement or us, I'm talking about FFWPU, Family Federation for World Peace and Unification. That's where all the direction for blessings, spiritual guidance, workshops, Sunday services, and spiritual content comes from. That's our legal and charitable status. So I'm employed by FFWPU as a pastor. There's actually no such thing as the Unification Church. In 1950s, True Father set up the Holy Association and then changed the name to Family Federation for World Peace and Unification to try and create this holy heavenly community which is going to embody other religions. So when I refer to us or the church, I'm actually talking about FFWPU. There are sister organizations like UPF and women's federations who have similar goals, but they're different entities. I'm also assuming that everyone on the call to some extent identifies as a member or has some involvement in the church, i.e. FFWPU. I'm also going to assume as well that the blessing is something that we all want and strive for or have already achieved. I know my younger brother Isaac, he talked about his idea of the blessing last time he spoke. Maybe as a Yamamoto thing, we like talking about the blessing. Maybe it's something that runs in the family. So I've wanted to start off by asking you this question. Your second generation, what does that mean? So I'll just give you a couple of seconds to think about that. What does that mean for you? So your second generation, what does that mean? Well, while I was reflecting on this, I thought, okay, we're in a heavenly lineage, as we're told. We're grafted onto True Father's olive tree and connected to, our heavenly parents by lineage. If you like, that would be the religious definition. However, just the broader definition of second generation is the second in line that's been born into something. So another example of this is my grandparents. They were Italian. They moved to Wales to find work, and my mum was born and raised in Wales, so she'd be a second generation Italian living in Wales. So we were born into the church and into the movement, and growing up if you like, the goal for us, the second generation, was to reach the blessing. I remember in workshops, there was so much spiritual content about preparing for the blessing, preparing for family life. I went to Champion twice. Both times there was lots of emphasis on don't look, don't eat, and don't touch, and don't eat. Talk about sexual purity. Also on workshops, there's a huge emphasis on the 3 no's. Don't smoke, don't drink, and don't have relationships. And I feel that there's a lot of content to guide us to the blessing, to get us our partner, and to prepare us to share our life with another person. In my interview for the role as a pastor, Matthew Hewish and Dr. Balcom asked me, so Elliot, you're applying for the job. Why do you think so many second gen are leaving and not involved in community activities anymore? Before then, I had a fragmented answer, but while I've been reflecting on this since then, I think a part of it is because lots of us, our goal is to get to the blessing. Some people decide that's not for them. Some people go to the blessing, then after the blessing, then they disappear off the face of the earth. Lots of my friends growing up wanted to get blessed. Some of them made it, and then after a portion of those who made it to the blessing and got blessed have completely disappeared from our church communities and our global communities. And I think a reason for this, because so much emphasis is placed on getting to the blessing, that we see that as an end goal. So what I'm hoping to do with this talk is to broaden that goal to something beyond just the blessing. So what I want you to do is to imagine this hypothetical situation, okay? We are in a carbon copy of this world. However, there is no religion, there's no true father, Jesus never existed, there's no religions at all. There is just us 15 people, okay? So we're sat here on this Zoom call, and we decide we're going to create BCHC. So I'll say, yeah, BCHC. BC connects heavenly community. Okay, so this is a hypothetical situation. There's 15 of us in BCHC, and there's no religion, no ethics in the world at all. And our goal then is to try and change things, is to try and spread peace, love, and bring people to God. Have a little think for, I don't know, 30 seconds. And if you're brave enough, post in the chat what your solution would be. If there's just 15 of us and we need to spread change, but there's no religion in the world. Have a little think about this hypothetical situation. Okay, anyone brave enough to share their opinion? How would we change things for the better for the world? There's only 15 of us, and there's no pre-existing religion. Because actually, I was when I offered to do the talk, I was doing the dishes, and this hypothetical situation came to me, and I started thinking about it. And this is what my answer would be: host online lectures, like JBP, using communities and values. Jordan Peterson, yeah, he's a great speaker. So when I was having a little think, this is what came to me. First, I would work on myself, my own self-values and how I could reach others. Then I would go to my family, my immediate friends. Then I would go to my extended family, and then I would try and work with my wider communities. And after thinking about this, I realized this is the blueprint that True Father has given us. Although it was presented to us in a less appetizing way through the heavenly tribal messiahship. If you cut back from the Korean jargon and the translations, what that really comes down to is us working on ourselves, building a heavenly blessed family, sharing that with our wider family, and then working within our communities to spread values and spread love. And actually, that's a blueprint of how we can spread change, how we can spread positivity, and how we can share love with others and ultimately bring people to God. So if we go back to this hypothetical situation, there's just 15 of us in HCBC. If we all thought like this in our smaller communities, then we'd have 15 communities across the world working together, loving each other, collaborating, united, and centering on God. And this has become incredibly clear to me just again today. So I went to see Marina and Sam. The baby is just 2 days old. And I was so moved when I was holding that baby, because that baby has so much potential. It has got infinite possibilities in front of them. And that baby was so pure and loving already. And maybe realize that actually we all have that potential. We all have that within us to share with others. Just holding that baby, you know, I felt like I loved that baby unconditionally. And, you know, we have the potential to love others unconditionally the same. And using this blueprint of working on ourselves, our families, and spreading that to communities, we can see real change. And this is what I believe our responsibility is as blessed children. The blessing is a part of that. The blessing is part of developing ourselves, developing a loving family centered on God. But the end goal is to share that with others, to spread that within the community. This was just on the stock for Prezi. Life is an open book, ready to turn the next page. We had an event in Wales where we made food packages for the homeless in Cardiff, for a homeless shelter actually. We made almost 40 food packages and donated it to them. When me and Michael Klotz thought of this event, I thought, yes, this is a fantastic event. It's got a good cause. This is going to see some real change. It took quite a lot of preparation to book the hall, to get in contact with the charity we worked with. You know, and I made a short speech. And it took quite a lot of setting up, to be honest with you. When we opened the event then, no one turned up. We waited maybe 15, 20 minutes, and finally one person showed up. And initially I was really disheartened by this. I thought, oh, this preparation, and I've got only one guest. Later on, one guest did come once the event was towards the end, and my family arrived late as well. And I was so disheartened by this. But upon reflection for doing this talk, we might be doing something really good and we think is amazing, but the results might not always be there straight away. However, we should be doing this for God, not just for external results. So if we're doing something good, we know that God would be pleased, then that should be enough. I remember on STF, someone told me that your investment is never wasted. Okay, so it might not feel like something has happened immediately, but your efforts will lead to something bigger. And actually that one person who did come, she's really interested in spirituality. And I've been talking to her a lot on Facebook, and I'm actually going to meet her tomorrow for a hike. And my aim is to ask her to lead the next activity in Wales, which is going to be based around spirituality. And I'm hoping she agrees. But yeah, she's the only person who turned up, and hopefully that's going to lead to something. So if you do something good for the community, you know, you're giving, you're loving, don't feel disheartened if you don't see something straight away. Okay, I'm going to do some shameless advertising now, okay? So my role as pastor, officially on my job description, is to increase community and Alma, blessed children engagement. So on Wednesday, there's a prayer call at 6 p.m. British Standard Time. I'm forced to go to these as part of my contract. And then on Friday morning at 6 a.m., there's National Hundoke. Like I said, originally I was a bit skeptical going to this, but I can see how much I've developed myself, my own spiritual life by attending these things. It's really interesting to hear other people's ideas, other people's takes on spirituality and their experiences. Faith is something individual and different for us all. So it's actually really nice to listen to others and hear other people's opinions. And actually, I've started 2020 in a much more prayerful and open way. And, you know, that's enriched my life in numerous ways. I'm also probably the youngest person on all these calls. So I'd appreciate it if some of you would consider joining. As part of this shameless advertising, I've been asked to develop Youth Students for Peace in the UK. I haven't actually been told what that fully entails yet, but my understanding is that I'm going to lead the young people, the people who feel inspired for political change and political activities in the UK. If you feel like this is something you want to get involved with or connect with, I'll put my details in the chat, and we can have a conversation some point in the future. Also, I wanted to extend my services as a pastor to you all. If you need someone to speak to, someone to run ideas by, and I have an open door policy, so please feel like you can come and speak to me, and yeah, I'll try my best. So thank you for listening. I'll just go through the questions really carefully. Part of these questions is to have an understanding of what you feel is going on in your community, and to have a little bit of an understanding of where the movement FFWPU is at the moment. Before I got the job, there was even talks of not having a pastor and completely closing down communities. And that's something that I personally didn't want. So the first question is, does FFWPU or organized religion have a place in 2022? There's a big phenomenon at the moment of de-religion or anti-religion. So I was hoping we could have a discussion whether religion still has a place in modern life. The second question, what direction is your community heading in? Again, that's more for me to gauge any issues that I can try and sort out personally, and things I can try and do on a national level. But it's also an interesting discussion to see, what we're doing already for our communities and preparing for life after the blessing. And number three, are you content with the direction of your community? What works, what doesn't? Why is this? I feel we have a responsibility as second gen to start taking the mantle now and, start making